Welcome everybody to Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This is Joel Perez here of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment, and today we're talking about SmackDown Live, and this is your SmackDown Live review. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that this review is going up a little later than usual. I had guests here until well past 11 o'clock, so I am just starting this right now at 11:40, so this SmackDown review is certainly going to be up much later than usual, but we did see a very decent show, definitely better than what we've seen on Monday Night Raw last night. Even though Monday Night Raw last night wasn't as bad as usual, it was still bad. There was still a lot of stuff to complain about. Tonight's SmackDown felt very fresh. We've seen a lot of good stuff, some stuff that I'm really not excited about. The continuation of Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. I mean, why the hell is that match still, or that feud still continuing? I have no goddamn idea. There are some things that are being dragged. For example, the Money in the Bank and the Women's Championship and all that crap going on there makes no goddamn sense to me. Why the hell you even went with that in the first place, with the fact that Carmella won the Women's Money in the Bank in that fashion? If you were just going to do that anyways, makes no goddamn sense to me. And this was all covered here tonight, and we are going to talk about that in our SmackDown Live review. But all of you should make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, because Lord knows there's a lot of content that you can go check out. Just last week we had a bunch of crap going on. Of course, you can go check out my Monday Night Raw review that I uploaded last night. That is up on the channel right now, doing pretty good, so make sure to go check out your Monday Night Raw June 19th 2017 review and results. We also got Money in the Bank SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view. Make sure to go check out my review and results for that video tonight. We saw the fallout from Money in the Bank on SmackDown here tonight, and I mean, so you can go check out that Money in the Bank. Of course, on Saturday we uploaded Behind the Mic, what we're talking about all the news in the WWE, specifically John Cena, the reason why he has become a free agent. I can tell you right now, it's a bullshit reason. So we're talking about it right there on Behind the Mic, episode number 24. Raw and SmackDown reviews for last week are up. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight into your SmackDown Live review, because there is a lot to talk about. So make sure to do all that good stuff. If you like what you're hearing here, make sure to like what you are watching. Make sure to comment what you thought of SmackDown Live here tonight, and make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel to not miss a single thing. On Saturday, we have Behind the Mic, episode number 25. We're 1/4 of the way to 100 episodes, so make sure to go check that out. And if you don't want to miss it, if you want to get the notification, make sure to click on that notification bell, and of course click on that subscription button. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to SmackDown Live here tonight. They were in Dayton, Ohio, and just a lot of stuff went down here tonight, June 20th 2017, and the show started off with Carmella probably cutting the promo of her life here tonight. Carmella started off the show here getting massive heat here tonight, saying that she won the Money in the Bank fair and square, and that obviously set the boos wild here tonight in Dayton, Ohio. Pretty decent crowd. She said that everyone is always talking about the prestige and the lineage of a Charlotte Flair or a Natalya, but she is not given the same amount of credit. She brings up how Kane helped Rollins win the briefcase in 2014, and how Bray Wyatt prevented Roman Reigns from winning it in 2015. She brings up how there are no rules in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and therefore she is the winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match, fair and square. She rubs it in everybody's face, got massive heat for it, saying, "There's nothing you can do about it. I'm Mrs. Money in the Bank, the first ever Mrs. Money in the Bank." So Carmella pretty much came out here tonight to stick the middle finger to every single person complaining. She said here tonight, she was like, "Oh, all you internet goobs," or whatever the hell she called us. So all you internet assholes hiding behind your computer want to come out and complain, well, I won the Money in the Bank fair and square. And she said that when Daniel Bryan came out later in the night, he would have to side with her because there are no rules that state against it in the Money in the Bank. And we will talk about what Daniel Bryan did go and do. This show was heavily built around Daniel Bryan coming in and making this decision. What is going to happen with the Money in the Bank briefcase? Will it stay in Carmella's hands? We are going to talk about that in the review here tonight. But we move on to the next segment, and this is how the show is building around this a lot. Daniel Bryan talked to Charlotte about her frustration with what Carmella did, saying that they were all excited to make history, Charlotte said, on Sunday, and they were prevented that honor. So Bryan better do what's right. The New Day came out after that, saying that tonight they planned to come out sporting that beautiful blue and silver around their hips, but the Usos staged a prison break in their own penitentiary. They showed pictures of what happened last Sunday. They welcomed the Usos to the New Day playpen, introducing their debutee with a long nightstick, according to Kofi Kingston. Now, that didn't come from my mouth, bro. The Usos then came out for a one-on-one match between Jimmy Uso and Big E. This was really nothing here. We saw the New Day win here when the Usos tried to escape, similar to what happened on Sunday, but Kofi did that trust fall from the steel steps onto Jay. They cornered Jimmy, forcing him back into the ring for Big E to hit the big ending. So really nothing there. Obviously, they're continuing the New Day versus the Usos, probably into the next pay-per-view, which is Battleground. So we will see where that continues next week. But for now, really nothing out of that segment. We go to another backstage segment with Daniel Bryan, and he is talked to by Natalya and Tamina. Natalya, absolutely cringeworthy in this segment. Natalya comes in kissing up, wishing him a happy Father's Day, talking about Bryan's baby, wishing him congratulations. Tamina, thankfully, finally tells him, interrupts Natalya, saying that if she has to hear Carmella again, she is going to kick her in the face. So Bryan better settle the Money in the Bank controversy. So that was what Tamina had to say about things. Naomi was then interviewed about the controversy, saying that it's not fair to the women in the match that a man, James Ellsworth, grabbed the briefcase, but she doesn't care who it is because they will feel the glow. Lana then came in saying that Naomi should be thanking Carmella because if it wasn't for her distraction, she wouldn't have lost, asking for a second title shot. Naomi said despite the fact that Lana lost fair and square, she will give Lana another title shot because she is a fighting champion. Now that is where I take my first issue with this show, because Lana has done absolutely nothing. You got all these women, Charlotte, you got Natalya, Tamina we haven't seen, can't make an argument for her, but Becky, all these women who have worked their asses off, and you're telling me Lana could just come in and her first 2 matches are women's title shots? Are you kidding me? How do you validate that, bro? How do you validate that? That was this show's first strike, if you ask me. Next week, we're apparently going to see a women's championship match, and I don't agree with that, bro. I really do not agree with that. Lana, very bad in the ring. I mean, she wasn't as terrible as an Eva Marie, but you can clearly tell that she was lost in the middle of that ring, and she really wasn't ready to be in that ring, nonetheless on SmackDown, nonetheless in a women's championship scenario. So that really made no sense to me. And I mean, really, there were so many better ways that you could have went with that. But but instead you go this direction. Naomi didn't even need to be on the show here tonight. This didn't even need to be on the segment, or you could have just cut it at the interview and Lana could have stayed off the show here tonight. But we did not need this, bro. We really did not need this, but apparently next week Lana and Naomi will be fighting once again for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Hopefully it's a better match, but then again, how much better can Lana get in the ring a week from now? Maybe she's learned Naomi a little more now that they've been in the ring once, and maybe next time around it will be good. But I mean, then again, Lana's very green in the ring, and I don't like what they did at Money in the Bank, so I doubt I'm going to like what they're going to do next week on SmackDown Live, and I don't think Lana even deserves a title shot to begin with. So where the hell is this coming from at all? Randy Orton was then interviewed by Tom Phillips backstage about, or not backstage, actually, it was a little interview, like one of those professional interviews that Michael Cole does with Brock Lesnar or whatever. But Randy is interviewed by Tom Phillips about what happened in his match with Jinder Mahal, saying that he lost control and he beat himself at Money in the Bank. I actually really enjoyed this promo by Randy Orton. He said that Jinder Mahal crossed the line because he put his hands on his family and he doesn't care who he has to go through. He says that he will fly to India and he will drop RKO's on Jinder's uncles, cousins, brothers, and his father if he has to, because Jinder made a mistake and there is no going back anymore. He said he was going to hurt Jinder after that. And I like it, bro. I like it. I like the intensity of Randy Orton there. Whether or not he's actually going to bring that intensity, we did see him at the end of the show. We'll talk about that at the end of the review. But really, we really haven't seen much from Randy Orton in this interview, as of late on SmackDown Live. Really been stale, generic, boring babyface Randy Orton, and I've bashed it for weeks now. And I mean, Jinder Mahal as WWE Champion really isn't doing anything well. I don't understand why we're seeing this a third goddamn time, this feud going straight for a third goddamn month. I mean, I say you get this over with on SmackDown and go into Battlegrounds with a new opponent for Jinder Mahal, because really, this is absolutely terrible. You're going to have Jinder Mahal beat Randy Orton for a third time in the middle of that ring at Battleground. I really cannot see that happening. I really cannot see it where Randy Orton does not get one over on Jinder Mahal. I really don't see that, bro. I really do not see that, and at least tell me that if this match does happen for a third time, there's going to be a stipulation. Because Jinder Mahal, especially after seeing his match with Luke Harper in the ring, really offers nothing in the ring. Oh my God, he's just awful. He's just very awful in the ring, and Randy Orton with that slow, monotonous pace really does not bring anything out of Jinder Mahal to begin with. So I don't know why the hell they're continuing this. Randy Orton hasn't been doing his best work in this rivalry. There's no reason to continue this for a third month. There's a bunch of talent on SmackDown who I'm sure would love to be put in a WWE Championship position. Luke Harper? I don't know, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles. I mean, why don't we see these matches? Why the hell is it Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal for a third month? I don't think anybody's interested in that, and to me it makes no goddamn sense. Randy Orton lost the WWE Championship. He lost his rematch. There's no way this match is happening a third time. You cannot justify this match happening for a third goddamn time. I like the motivation of Randy Orton here. He's starting to sound a little bit more like the Viper, but do you really think SmackDown is going to execute that on television? And my answer to that would be no. So, I mean, really, there's no investment for me in this rivalry, and I really do not care here. We go to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler. I do not like the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura for a 6 straight week, however many weeks it is on SmackDown, really making him blend in with the rest of the roster, and that's my biggest problem. Shinsuke Nakamura is a superstar. He's a special attraction. Not everybody needs to see Shinsuke Nakamura every single week. On NXT, you had him come out every 2, maybe 3 weeks, and you're really risking the making of Nakamura special and building him up as a special attraction. There's no reason that a Louisville, Kentucky, or all these hick towns that you go to for these Raws and SmackDowns, there's no reason that these towns need to see Shinsuke Nakamura every single goddamn week. And I feel like at least some of you need to understand me in that testament. And you were doing it right going into Backlash. The every other week formula with Shinsuke Nakamura was working. It was making him more of a hype when he was there. But ever since that build to Money in the Bank, he's been on it every single goddamn week. And I mean, it really makes no sense. And yes, he did put on a very good match with Dolph Ziggler here tonight, to the point where I would say it was better than what we saw on SmackDown Live, or on Backlash, a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. I would say it was better than that. I enjoyed it that goddamn much. It was a very good match between these two guys. Nakamura hit a huge Kinshasa at the end of the match. Looked like it rung Ziggler's bell, gave him a concussion almost. It looked like that Kinshasa hit so hard. Very, very good match between these two guys. Ziggler worked his ass off. Nakamura worked his ass off. A lot of near falls. I loved it. I loved it. Very good matchup. Better than what we've seen at Backlash. A lot more high pace. Looks like these guys got to know each other inside that ring. And I don't know why, but it was better than what we've seen at Backlash. Maybe because at Backlash, Nakamura, that was his introduction match. He had to show off all the special moves. And here tonight, they really didn't need to do that. Not much story building around this match. They just went in there, kicked each other's asses for 15 minutes or however so they were in the ring, and we got a result at the end. And that, of course, was Nakamura winning here. But then again, I say it, Nakamura being on SmackDown Live every week really not benefiting anybody. You need to keep this guy off the show next week. I think keep this guy off the show for 2 more weeks. I don't know, but Nakamura does not need to be on the show. You're complaining about all these guys being missing. A lot of people I saw complaining about the missing of Ty Dillinger, the missing of Rusev, the missing of what do you call it? Of Shelton Benjamin maybe even coming back, Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis, who debuted on SmackDown. I feel like if Nakamura wasn't on this show because he needs to be treated like a special attraction, I feel like if Nakamura wasn't on this show, that could have very easily made room for a Mike and Maria. And it could have easily made room for a Ty Dillinger or a Rusev to come out and stake their claim. But no, none of that. We haven't seen Ty Dillinger in God knows how many weeks. And it's just mind-boggling to me. Why the hell are you risking normalizing and making Nakamura blend in with the rest of the roster? It really isn't necessary. And that's a big issue for me. Good match, but not a necessary one. I don't like the fact that they gave this match away on free TV, even though really you're really never going to see it on pay-per-view again. I don't like the fact that Nakamura is being risked, and this wasn't even in the main event. This wasn't even in the main event. I understand why it wasn't in the main event, but Nakamura, if you're going to have him on television, I say you put the guy in the main event. But none of that. You're really risking making Nakamura blend in and more normal than Nakamura needs to be. Nakamura's a superstar. He's a special attraction. And he's really not being treated as such. And I feel like that is a problem. And I hope you guys can understand me on that one. I want to hear what some of you guys have to say about that one, because I've been complaining about it for weeks, and it still hasn't been addressed by SmackDown Live. Still, they were doing it during Backlash, and that shows that they know that they have to do it, but it looks like they're falling short, and especially when there's so much talent that really could fill those gaps for Nakamura. Really not a gap, because there's so much talent on SmackDown. You're really wasting an opportunity there with Nakamura. Moving on here, probably one of the... Or no, this is a backstage segment. Yeah, this is probably one of the best segments of the show here tonight. Becky Lynch did a great job here, but Daniel Bryan was talking to Sami Zayn. Only thing we've seen of Sami Zayn this week. He was talking to Sami Zayn, confirming that next week Sami Zayn will face Baron Corbin, with Becky Lynch walking in and Sami acknowledging the fact that Becky was robbed of an opportunity on Sunday. Becky went into what was a passionate promo, very, very good. Becky Lynch here, with her telling Bryan that she feels that she comes so close to success. And every time there's someone in front of her, and it's the land of opportunity, but it really doesn't feel like it right now. And she says what really bugs her is the fact that she's supposed to be prepared to deal with this, but she can't finds her way around it. So she asked Bryan, what do I do? What do I do? Bryan said that it's complicated, with Becky saying there's nothing complicated about doing the right thing. I enjoyed this segment and promo a lot because Becky in this little promo really made you sympathize with the bullshit and the crap that she's going through. I like this serious note of Becky. I like this sympathetic note of Becky, of her just showing her desperation and her frustration because she knows she has the talent to be there, but she keeps being screwed over. Whether it's a Charlotte coming in and stepping in front of her, or a Carmella and what she's doing with James Ellsworth and just stealing the Money in the Bank contract, because Becky was the one to almost grab it. But look at what they did to her. Look at what they did to her. And it really was a good promo, allowed you to sympathize with Becky Lynch, and I really enjoyed what she did there. When she's not joking around and spitting all these jokes and being all cringy, Becky really could, at the end of the day, cut a good promo, and I'm glad that they gave her the opportunity to do that, and we didn't just see the perspective of Carmella coming out here and saying, I'm the Money in the Bank, I'm the Mrs. Money in the Bank, nothing you could do about it, nothing you could do about it. It's nice to see how Becky feels about that, and really came across here tonight, so I like that. Moving on here, Kevin Owens came out, and he says that the only reason he's not holding the Money in the Bank ladder match right now is because the 5 other men in that match conspired against him, but he still stands in the middle of that ring, face of America, still the United States champion. He says that Shane McMahon likes to say that SmackDown Live is the land of opportunity, and America was the original land of opportunity, so he's going to give someone from Dayton, Ohio the opportunity to face him for the title. AJ Styles came out saying that he would be better than Owens being, what would be better than Owens being U.S. champion is him, AJ Styles, beating Owens for that U.S. title. That's when Owens stops him, saying that the challenge was for someone who is a local resident of Dayton, Ohio, and that brought out American Alpha. Why the hell American Alpha was involved with this segment, I don't know, but Chad Gable of American Alpha came out here, and I mean, first time we've seen American Alpha in weeks, so that's a win for me. I mean, all this talent being left off, at least we've seen half of American Alpha here, at least there's that. But then again, the interest in American Alpha is at an all-time low here, and that's an unfortunate thing to say. But Chad Gable, really good at wrestling, and Chad Gable actually came out here spitting a bunch of bullshit, saying that he just moved from Dayton, Ohio to Dayton, Ohio this morning, obviously lying in order for the match to start. AJ Styles takes the mic. He says, Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable, United States Championship. We go to commercial break. We'll come back. AJ Styles is on our commentary, and this match has officially gotten underway. Wish this match would have went longer. Really could have been something really cool to see. Chad Gable is very, very good in the ring. Very good wrestler is Chad Gable. And, I mean, we really did not get to see that, and that is very, very unfortunate here, because this match really, with that big-ass commercial break in between, really went like 5 minutes. So, I mean, really nothing much here. You seen Gable get hit with the pop-up powerbomb, and it was over. This was just building towards AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. And I hope Kevin Owens comes out and does this open challenge every week, because I would love to see Owens do this and be booted in when he doesn't want to an actual United States Championship match with a legitimate contender. So I would love to see that. But, I mean, it was decent. Really nothing much here. I wish this match would have went longer, because we could have seen a really, really good match if this would have actually been taken seriously. But obviously it was not. And, of course, SmackDown lost points for that. But moving on here, I like this part of the show. Zack Ryder was showing Daniel Bryan the replay of him winning the Battle Royal to become #1 contender for the Tag Team Championships before Zack Ryder got injured, with them saying that they deserve a shot at the titles. Daniel Bryan said that the Tag Team division has changed a lot since then, but he will give them an opportunity next week for the Tag Team Championships. If they can beat the Usos, they will become #1 contenders. I don't like that, bro. I don't like that. I mean, really, do you have to do that crap where you beat the champions to become number one contender? I mean, why can't you do a match between the Hype Bros and the New Day to determine the number one contender? I hate when you have to beat the champion to get the championship shot. Like, what the hell? You beat the champion to get the championship. You don't beat the champion to get the shot at the champion, bro. Because if you're in the ring with the champion, you should be in a championship match. So it makes no goddamn sense to me. It makes no goddamn sense to me. Really, there's another contender for the tag team championships, and it's the New Day. So obviously, you would want the New Day versus the Hype Bros, but not very logical booking here on SmackDown Live. So I don't understand that. But the New Day here tonight actually got a win over Jimmy Uso. So I mean, they're in contention as well, if you ask me. So I don't know, but that match is going to be going on next week. We go to Daniel Bryan, who came out to a massive reaction. Yes, Daniel Bryan chants, with Daniel saying it's great to be back, but he wishes it was under different circumstances, saying that they just got done with the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but it led to nothing but controversy, which he tells us, and he tells us that he must just stick strictly to the WWE rulebook, which I doubt exists, so I mean, really don't have to go off of much, Daniel. But he introduces all the competitors who are in the match, saying that all the rules say that it's the first person to hold the briefcase who wins the Money in the Bank ladder, or the Money in the Bank. And Carmella has a point, but there has never been interference to that point where somebody else grabs the briefcase and hands it to the person. So there is a different problem here. That's when things get serious, because James Ellsworth took the mic saying that Bryan is just salty. Duh. I fucking hate James Ellsworth, but he says Bryan is just salty because he gave birth to his little vegan babies. That spikes a fire in Daniel Bryan. He tells Ellsworth to shut up. And I love this. He says that if Ellsworth ever talks to him like that again and talks about his family, he will punch Ellsworth right in the face. That starts an argument between all the women that was broken by Bryan, saying that he will not stand for seeing Carmella hold the Money in the Bank when she did not win it deservedly. So next week there will be a reliving of the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match next week on SmackDown Live, which starts a brawl in the ring centered around Carmella, who got hit with the natural selection by Charlotte and got locked into the disarmor by Becky Lynch. I enjoyed this segment a lot. I mean, it was very cool seeing this be announced here. I mean, it's definitely going to be cool to see the Money in the Bank ladder match on SmackDown again. Hopefully they can do something better, because the one on Money in the Bank only went 12 goddamn minutes. Hopefully they don't put commercial breaks on this goddamn Money in the Bank ladder match. But obviously this is a ratings ploy to get people to watch SmackDown Live next week, and also they probably booked this on the spot because they saw the negativity that people were talking about. They were like, oh my god, all these people are so pissed off that we did this with the first ever women's Money in the Bank. So they're probably doing this to save face, and they're probably doing this to pop a nice rating for SmackDown Live next week. And I can understand that. And I mean, it is exciting. It is exciting. It's going to be interesting to see if they do keep it on Carmella, which I think they should. Carmella cut a wonderful promo on SmackDown Live here tonight. She has big promise, and I don't think that should be passed up with Carmella. But besides that, ladies and gentlemen, really not much else here tonight on SmackDown, because we went to Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper. But just talking about the women a little bit more. Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw with the women last week. Last night, I should say. Monday Night Raw with the women last night. Put all the women in one segment where they all had this meaningless brawl. Who gives a crap? Monday Night Raw, take notes. This is how you put all your women on one show. Even though I don't agree with Lana and Naomi, they were in that backstage segment. And then the 5 women in the Money in the Bank ladder match, of course, they were all on the show. This is how you put all your women and utilize all your women on the show. Monday Night Raw, take some goddamn notes, bro, because that is how you do it. SmackDown did a fine job putting all their women on the show here tonight, and I'm very excited to see all the women in their matches going into next week, because there's 2 women's matches next week. A women's championship match between Lana and Naomi, the Money in the Bank ladder match. We got Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn announced for next week, and of course we have the what else? Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn, and then we have the Usos versus the Hype Bros. So we have a nice card laid out for next week. Hopefully all these matches get some nice time, because they can be some very, very good matches, and this could be a nice laid out SmackDown next week, because we have a bunch of matches in store, but I don't know about that. Moving on to Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper. This was a match. I mean, nothing really happened here. In the end, Luke Harper was obviously about to win, because Jinder Mahal can't win clean. And Baron Corbin comes out as there's a huge superplex off the top rope. Baron Corbin comes out, teases cashing in. That distracts Jinder Mahal. Super kick to Jinder Mahal by Luke Harper. About to hit the discus clothesline. One of the Singh brothers gets on the apron. Luke tries to hit it to that Singh brother. Hops off. That allows Mahal to hit a big boot into the Colossus. 1, 2, 3. I was saying earlier in the review, Jinder Mahal is terrible in the ring. This match is part of why I was saying that, because it was goddamn terrible. Jinder Mahal is awful in the ring, especially with the guy as talented as Luke Harper. You question why Jinder Mahal is the WWE Championship and not Luke Harper, bro. I don't understand that one right there. But besides that, Baron Corbin coming out, I loved that part of the goddamn match. I loved how Baron Corbin came out, teased cashing in. He should do that. It just shows how you can get a lot of heat behind Baron Corbin and these heels by having them tease the cash. And the only difference is here I actually want to see Baron Corbin cash in, because I cannot stand Jinder Mahal as WWE Champion, to the point where I actually want John Cena, like was rumored on Behind the Mic episode number 23, which y'all should all go check out, by the way, 2 weeks ago. But to the point where I actually want John Cena to come back and beat Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship, because Jinder Mahal's so goddamn awful in the ring. He has no appeal in the ring. His moveset is so goddamn basic, and even that he executes terribly. He's just so goddamn stale and awful in the ring, and for that reason alone, I want him to get off of my television as WWE Champion, because Jesus Christ, it's one thing to be able to put on a good promo and put on a good feud, but if you know that that feud is not going to have a good payoff in the middle of that ring, in the end, there's really nothing to get excited for. And that's how I feel about Jinder Mahal. Yeah, he can put on this fantastic feud, which he's not even doing that. He can put on this fantastic feud, but there's going to be no payoff in the ring. So if he can't even put on this fantastic feud, what's the point? What the fuck is the point? Because if the feud is mediocre and the match is goddamn terrible, what's the point? Him and Randy at Money in the Bank literally did the same thing they did at Backlash, which wasn't even good. And then here tonight, he had a terrible match with Luke Harper, who didn't even do that good in the ring with AJ Styles, who's arguably the best wrestler in the world right now. So where the hell is the appeal in Jinder Mahal? Because there's no in-ring ability in there with Jinder Mahal, and I think that has to be taken into account. But anyways, moving on here, I hope you guys can consider that. These are the things I look at as I watch this show. But moving on here, ladies and gentlemen, we go to Randy Orton comes out. He goes after the Singh brothers, who Jinder Mahal sent after Orton, throws them into the barricade, kick, barricade to both of them, goes after Jinder Mahal. Luthez press on Mahal, that sends Mahal fleeing. He gets his hands on Jinder Mahal, and I think as he goes for the RKO, I don't even remember what happened. I think Jinder Mahal did manage to escape the RKO, and that ended off SmackDown Live here tonight. Just really not that much. It was a very decent show, but in the end, not that much showcase. I'm wondering where Maria and Mike Kanellis were here tonight. Made no goddamn sense to me that they weren't on the show. But besides that, very, very decent edition of SmackDown Live. Better than what we seen on Monday Night Raw last night. I like the announcements. that we've seen a little bit more here tonight. Just a lot of good stuff here tonight on SmackDown, and it looks like the future of SmackDown is going to be brighter than what we've seen going into Money in the Bank. So I cannot wait to see where SmackDown goes from here. They still need to utilize some of this talent that hasn't been on the show for weeks. Rusev, Ty Dillinger, Mike and Maria weren't on the show here tonight, which mind-boggled me. So I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see until next week to see what SmackDown does. But it was a decent show here tonight. Had to give it a rating, probably a 6 out of 10. So decent stuff on SmackDown here tonight. But besides that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be your SmackDown Live review for the date of June 20th, 2017. I hope you enjoyed every single thing you heard here. Like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. You got Monday Night Raw and SmackDown reviews both up for last week. You got Money in the Bank preview and predictions last week. You had you had Behind the Mic episode number 24, where we're talking about John Cena, the reason he returned to the WWE. We had Money in the Bank, the pay-per-view that we were talked about a lot here tonight. This was a fallout show for that pay-per-view, so make sure to go check out your Money in the Bank review. You had Monday Night Raw last night, so there's a bunch of shit to go check out. And if you don't want to miss a thing going forward, make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. For now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to click on that like button. Comment down below what you thought of SmackDown Live here tonight. For now, this is going to be Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. I hope you enjoyed every single little thing that you heard here tonight. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I'll see you next time right here on Ringside Wrestling.